Yeah, so I'll forward the slides for you. Or no, or
I don't need them. I'm just gonna be doing introductions, saying hi to everybody.
Sure. Oh yeah, there you go. So, no worries.
Great.
Hey everybody, it is 5:30. So if you can make your way to your seats, grab some food. We're gonna get started here in just a moment. You can also do the handheld if you want.
No, it's nice to actually have a stand.
And then do one thing called look at that camera. See the camera right there?
Yeah.
Hold your hand up like this for a second. All right, it should follow you now. Oh.
Ah. You're kind of in the peripheral. That's okay. You're on.
All right, everybody. Hello. Just gonna wait for one more minute. People settle into their seats. Welcome to the Hamlin Midway Coalition and Midway Investment Cooperative Joint Annual Meeting. Round of applause. Now, any other year, I'd be saying congratulations on making it in horrible weather, but this is some of the like spookiest, best weather we've had in November I can remember. So I'm unsettled, but I'm happy to be here. So my name is Cole Hansen, he, him pronouns, and I'm the board president for Hamlin Midway Coalition. And I just want to say again, thank you all for coming. The Hamlin Midway Coalition would not be able to serve our community, would not be able to meet the needs of our community, and most importantly, elevate the voices of our community without all of you here, all the folks on all of our committees, and all the folks who are going to be watching online as well. Now, first things first, because we are at Hamlin University, let's raise our hand for anybody who's gone to Hamlin or worked for Hamlin University. Okay. All right. Yeah. See? Now let's raise our hands if we've volunteered for or been staff for Hamlin Midway Coalition or Midway Investment Cooperative. Yeah. More hands. And raise your hand if you really like the Midway. Yeah. All right. So like I said, none of this would be possible without the help of our amazing staff and volunteers. Now, in particular, I want to say thank you so much to Jenny and Justin, our new executive director and our new community organizer with Hamlin Midway Coalition. They have both started and ran as fast as they could since they joined the coalition, and they've been doing a lot of really incredible work to connect us to you and you to us and all of us to the city to shake our fists or wag our fingers or thumbs up or whatever we need to be doing. I also wanted to thank all of our volunteers, and not just our volunteers, but our AmeriCorps volunteers who not only are just doing the work, but this is our communities, their livelihood. Like that's a really big deal. AmeriCorps is a big service opportunity. So an extra round of applause for our AmeriCorps volunteers. Now, HMC is a big umbrella organization, right? Not super cool, but super interesting nonetheless. But what makes us really cool and really interesting together is all of our committees. So if you have not yet taken the opportunity, I highly encourage you, if not plead for you, to visit with all of our committees, all of our wonderful committee chairs, committee volunteers, members, and get to know all the folks who are leading our renter engagement work in the community, leading our environmental work in the community, leading our development work or transportation work in the committee, in the community, and all the other little projects and things that make things happen in our community, whether they're HMC HMC adjacent, or just another neighborhood organization. So I encourage you, after we're all done here, if they're not gone, check out their materials. If you didn't get a chance, hop online, check them out, because they're all really important. Now, the last thing I want to say, so I'd be remiss if I missed it, is that it is Give to the Max Day today. And it would just be so darn great if you could make HMC your Give to the Max location organization for this year, because we are looking to build a lot of capacity in staffing, in operations, who we reach, what we advocate for, what we reach out for, what we uplift, what we prioritize. And we can't do that without resources. And at the end of the day, grants only get us so far. So your support is what makes all this happen. And I want to, again, ask you, please consider HMC. And while you're at it, buy a share of the Midway Investment Cooperative too, because they're doing important work too, and they need those shares. You can join their board too. You can cause all sorts of trouble in the Midway. So once again, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. All of us on behalf of HMC and MIC really appreciate you being here. And without further ado, you don't have to listen to me anymore. I'm going to pass the mic to Jenny Nelson, our Executive Director of Hamlin Midway Coalition.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here tonight. This is an amazing turnout, and I just feel like what a testament to the love and excitement and energy there is in this neighborhood for this community. So thank you so much for being here. We can go to the next slide. I was just going to provide a brief overview of the coalition, of the year that we've had, and I will tell you right now, I know there are things that I'm leaving out because there was so much that happened this year. And after I speak, we'll invite members from our committees to come up and talk about the work, because this is, as you know, we are a neighborhood organization. We are here for resident-led initiatives. We are powered by volunteers, powered by community members. And so they're the ones I really want to talk about the work tonight. But I will give you a few highlights of things that happened just kind of in the neighborhood, in the organization in general. So who are we? HMC has a board of directors that are elected representatives from the neighborhood. We've got all these folks on our website. We've got a brand new website, like, coming soon. But just wanted to put their names and faces up here so that you can see them if you see them in the room tonight. A couple of our board members were helping greet you as you came in. All of these folks are elected by the community and then give their time and talents to the organization throughout the year. And they don't do it alone. Next slide.
Oops, sorry, hold on.
Awesome. We've also got amazing committees who are also made up of community members who are doing incredible work. And like I mentioned, they will be up here to speak in a couple of minutes. But our work is really, most of it happens within these 4 committees. So development committee focused on, people-centered economic development in the neighborhood. Our environment committee, how are we protecting our green spaces, rebuilding our canopy in the neighborhood. Our renter engagement committee, as we think about who are we reaching in the neighborhood, who are we welcoming. Hamlin Midway is 40% renter, and we want to be really intentional about making sure that all of our neighbors feel really welcome and that this is their organization. And then our transportation committee, how are we advocating for better transit options, for safe pedestrian pathways, for bike pathways? What does that look like in the neighborhood? And these are the folks leading that work. Okay. So a couple of highlights. We had a lot of change this year. When I tell the story of HMC this year, so much transition. We had complete staff turnover this year. We had a bunch of new board members start in January. We got a new office space. So now we have a different physical location. So I've got a couple of faces up here that you'll be familiar with. Justin, our new community organizer. There's Cole, he just spoke to our board president, and that's me at an event earlier this year. Our tenant organizer who joined us in August, he's not here tonight. He couldn't be here, and he has no idea that I'm using this picture of him, but that was his amazing Halloween costume where he was Yukon Cornelius from Rudolph. I mean, really good. And there are 2 other folks who I want to mention who aren't up here, but Elisa Lopez was our communications intern. She is here tonight. She did some amazing work for us. She's a Hamlin student. And then Courtney, who is our AmeriCorps community forester, and she might have actually helped greet you and bring you up to this room tonight. And she also wasn't able to be here for too long, but she's doing incredible work with the Environment Committee, and you'll hear more about that in a little bit. So big year of transition for us. One of the things that we do is respond to community needs, and we were at a few events this year. We held a few events this year. We were at the Mighty Midway Festival, as I mentioned. We held a community meeting for residents and neighbors of Kimball Court. We held a community meeting with the Office of Neighborhood Safety this year. We were working with Allianz Field, the United Village Development. We've had a presence there. And then pictures from maybe one of my favorite events this year was an art installation in Hamlin Park, which isn't too far away from here. And hopefully you've been able to enjoy that this year. But that was another time where we were able to convene community and bring folks together. So sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's a mix of both. We also brought, and actually maybe this is my favorite event. We had our ice cream social this year with 300 of our closest neighbor friends come and join us. I hope that you'll make it next year. This is an annual event. It is a treat. We partner with Sweet Fruit Cheese to provide ice cream for the neighborhood. And it was just a fabulous evening and another example of how we want to bring the community together to have fun and enjoy this place that we live. We also were really excited to work with Hamlin this year for a series of what I call Welcome Week tours, where we got to interact with 150 first-year students from Hamlin. Volunteers from our organization came to help lead groups around the neighborhood. We just did a walking tour. We went to Ginkgo, we went to Mosaic on a Stick. We saw different, highlights in the neighborhood and really encouraged students, like, this is your home. We wanted to make them feel really welcome. And give them a small taste of the things that this neighborhood has to offer. We also have some amazing community volunteers who lead cleanups. They have done trash cleanups for the last, I think, at least 4 years. Unbelievable work. Yeah. Getting out when it's cold, when it's hot, there might still be snow on the ground, cleaning up this neighborhood. And it really, that feels really simple, and it is not. It's really meaningful. It's easy to be a part of, and it makes such a difference. And it's a really amazing thing to coordinate. We've got some amazing volunteers, Jen and Kevin, who lead those multiple times a year. And I have to mention the Midway Food and Empowerment Project. Their table is right over here. Also a volunteer-led project. This year, so they are at the Hancock Rec Center on Wednesdays. They had 46 food distributions and served 60 families on average every week, which is incredible with food and resources. This is, again, a great example of a project that is resident-led, people in the neighborhood who care about their neighbors, making things happen. So thank you, Midway Project. It's been so great working with you all. And then, kind of like the bread and butter of what we do, we've had a bunch of public meetings this year. So anyone is invited to these. They're on our calendar, on our website. You can come and learn about what the board does. You can come to any of our committee meetings. They are open to the public. They're hybrid. We have them on Zoom as well. And I would really encourage you, if you're interested in getting involved in the organization, like, it might not sound like the most exciting thing, but they are really great meetings. It's a great place to meet your neighbors. And learn about what's happening in the neighborhood. So that is another highlight. And as I mentioned before, HMC is really powered by volunteers. This is an absolutely incomplete list of things that our board and committee members have been a part of this year to make happen. And I know this is an undercount of the hours of time that they have committed to our mission, but we've got some really amazing folks who've committed to this organization and made a whole bunch of this and other things happen this year. So just like a really quick round of applause for our board and committee members. They make this organization run. And the last slide that I'm going to share with you, and then I'm going to turn it over to hear from the committee members, is just, participating with HMC is an investment in our neighborhood. And I encourage you to get involved at any level. You can volunteer for a trash cleanup. You can come to a meeting. You can reach out to me or Justin or Lucid or Courtney and just sit down with us and find out what we're doing. we really welcome that with any of our board or committee members. Same thing. I'm also going to put a plug for donating to the organization since we are in that season. And far and away, dollars that we raise from individual donors, you own the organization and they are by far our most flexible and sustainable source of income. So really appreciate you making that consideration. And just a preview of 2024, because it's just around the corner. Board elections are coming up in April. So pay attention to our website, social media channels. We'll be getting out the newsletter to share information about that. And it's been a long time coming, and we've got renewed activity with our neighborhood plan, which is, our guiding document as a neighborhood that we will start sharing the draft of with the community in early 2024. So there's so much exciting things happening. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to turn it over to Erin. I don't know where Erin is, but Erin's up next from Environment Committee. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, wonderful. Great.
You can have multiple microphones.
Want this?
Yeah, we do. That one works too. So.
All right.
I'm gonna go first.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name's Nick Weber. I'm on the Environment Committee. And I just want to share just a couple of things to highlight our year. Just a couple of initiatives that we're focused on and trying to work towards is salt use by businesses in the community, and then sustainable green to go packaging. It's something that we put in the back burner a little bit, but we're excited to kind of like go into next year trying to re-engage with that.
We need people for that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Our free trees program has been incredible. Over the last 3 years, we've planted a total of 118 trees around the community with volunteer support.
Yeah,
that's great.
yes.
And this year we had 600 hours of volunteer efforts, which equates to $18,000 in kind efforts. So that's incredible. The beeline work has continued. There's been hosted bee identification programs, which have been awesome along the beeline, as well as plantings and efforts to continue to keep Pierce Butler Meadow unmowed so that we can continue to support our pollinators. Let's see. Is there anything else that I should touch on? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to talk about how we're very much a doing committee. We do a lot of projects and we need a lot of help, and we would love more board members, as well as any other volunteers for any of our other projects. We also, a lot of our projects, we make sure to include a lot of the community with that. So our beeline, where we plant a lot of pollinator plants along Pierce Butler and along Pierce Butler route. We have community members who raise our seedlings for us during the season and then help plant them. So they're invested along the whole season, not just the one day, as well as we do have volunteers who take care of some of our trees before we plant them as well. So there's a lot of ways to get involved. And do you have anything else to add?
I was just going to talk about the green to go packaging, the ordinance that passed several years ago, and then the pandemic hit and it got stalled. So we actually did pass that with Zero Waste St. Paul, and with the help of all of the environment committees in St. Paul. Basically where black plastic and polystyrene would be banned in St. Paul. And it's actually in the ordinance that restaurants should not be using it, but they are because it's not being enforced. But as individuals, your voice is important to talk to the restaurants about not actually using their restaurant as a to-go place, because you don't want that in your life. And I know it's hard because it's expensive to go different ways with paper and other recyclable plastic, although white is usually the same price as black, but black is kind of black is the same price, but it doesn't look as good with food and white plastic. That's what we've heard. But if anybody wants to get involved with that, you can contact me or the Environment Committee email, or Jenny maybe, or yeah. I'm Erin Pavlica. You can find me on many places. You can come sit in my front yard around a fire or have a beverage of your choice. I'm usually out front on Charles and Griggs. And I can talk trash all day, basically. So, yeah. But yeah, we are definitely a doing committee. I know that some people don't get involved in boards because they don't want to just sit around a table and make decisions, but the environment committee is definitely a committee that that does things. Like all the trees that we've planted. Woo! Yay, environment committee.
And if you don't like trees, there's plenty of other
Yes, there's plenty of-
environmental,
And if you don't like trees,
there's plenty of other environmental projects that we can and want to do. And if you have energy for that, please reach out.
yes, perfect. Woohoo! Thank you. Who's next?
I'm just holding the mic for a moment.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I think up next. Well, sorry, I'm gonna give us the rundown of who's coming up next and then we will move it along. Development Committee with Andrea is coming up next. On deck, Kiara with Renter Engagement. After that, Mike and Kevin with Transportation.
Thanks.
So, thanks.
Which
Andrea.
one?
Actually, I think that's great.
Hello? Okay. Hi, everybody. Yeah. It's, I don't know if you can hear me. It's in and out. I'm Andrea.
This one might
Suki
be better.
Shin.
Use this one instead.
Thank you. I'm Andrea Suki Shin and I'm on the development committee. I technically live in Union Park, but I live and work in the Hamlin Midway Coalition and area. And I decided that I wanted to help. I saw things happening in the world that I could not do anything about. And you know how you're supposed to think globally and act locally. So I found the Hamlin Midway Coalition and I feel like I found a home. So I encourage anybody that might want to change and do something too, to look at one of our committees. And you don't have to necessarily join, by the way. We do all of our meetings on Zoom. So you could sit back and you could hear what's going on in the area. For example, our committee, we are the development committee. So what does that mean? That means that we partner with places like the Black Heart when they expanded their patios. Anybody seen that? It's beautiful. Beautiful. So those are some of the projects that we help with and we encourage. And then we talk to our leadership and we're like, you know, we support this. How about the Allianz Soccer Stadium? You know, it's a mess. It looks kind of awful. And we're like, okay, what are we going to do about this? And we're trying to reach out to our other neighbors that are in other areas of our neighborhood. And we're trying to say, hey, let's get together, figure out what the community wants to do about this super block that we're all supposed to have. And we're all excited about having. And so we want your input about it. We want to hear from the community because all of us, we make a difference when it comes to billionaires. They can listen when there's all of us and not just me, you know, send them an angry email about his trash. We also supported, I got to put my glasses on. Justin wrote these great remarks for me, but I'm clearly not a word for word girl. We also supported the Little Africa Plaza on Snelling. Those are some of the things that we try to do. I'm glad you like those things. Okay. We also play a vital role in local planning processes. We focus on restaurants, proposing various housing projects from smaller scale supported housing to larger development alternate initiatives. Sorry, Justin, I'm butchering this. We also want to know, you know, we're looking at the buildings and the areas east of the Allianz Soccer Stadium. There's a lot of boarded buildings. We had some riots. There's a lot of empty lots. So we're trying to figure out what should go there. Now, you could have us 6 people on the development committee saying what should go there, or you could tell us what you want to go there. And we will listen to you, because otherwise we're just saying, well, we think the neighborhood wants this from what we've talked to and our neighbors have told us. And what else? We're looking forward to the Midway Passport program. We're welcoming our new neighbors and we're putting informative packets and launching the Neighbor Notes video program. And we're going to showcase our businesses and our organizations because we have a lot of great businesses. I mean, come on, we have the best restaurants, right? I mean, really? Where else can you go to get authentic mom and pop cooking, not pay $50 a meal? Right? We have the best restaurants. So we're trying to showcase what we really have going on because this is an amazing community. We're halfway between downtown St. Paul, halfway between downtown Minneapolis. We really have the best of both worlds. So visit our table. We're right there in the corner by the restrooms. So you got to visit us. And like I said, you know, even if you don't want to join us, just give us your name and number and sign in for a Zoom meeting and listen to us sometime and give us your input. We would love to hear from you. Anyway, that's it. And I believe I cannot see, I'm getting old. Kira,
Yep, from the rec center is next.
Rec Center.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kiara. I have been a resident here in Midway for 5-6 years at this point, and I am here to talk about the Renter Engagement Committee. We are a rather new committee. We have had a handful of meetings so far. I've made it to a couple of them. And our general purpose is to represent the rental population in Midway. As Jenny mentioned earlier, a large portion of the residents in the Hamlin Midway area are renters. And in a lot of ways, renters do not end up being well represented in various governance. And there's a certain social stigma surrounding renting as well. And so moving into the new year, we are going to be doing a bunch of different assorted projects to try and empower the rental community here in Midway. So one of the things we're intending on doing is some renters' rights trainings with Homeline, which is a renters' rights organization here in Minnesota. Moving forward from that, we're also planning on having some renters forums where we're going to connect with the other nearby rental communities, such as Rondo, Union Park, etc., to try and form a larger community and get more voices, get feedback from folks. And then beyond that, we're going to try and advocate for, you know, the voices of renters in the neighborhood and make sure that our needs and our desires moving forward are heard and included as the neighborhood develops over the next many, many years. So it's going to be a good time. We could definitely use some more hands. If you are a renter in the Midway, definitely come over and chat with us. We are also tabling right over by the restrooms. And, you know, we would love to have some more hands, more folks to talk with about this issue and to make sure that everyone is being adequately represented in the happenings in our neighborhood. Oh yeah. I don't think I have much more to add.
Hello, I'm Kevin Delaney. I'm co-chair of the Transportation Committee with Mike Reynolds over there at the table. We just want to take this opportunity to thank John Levin, who was the longtime chair of the Transportation Committee for over a decade. So he unfortunately couldn't be here tonight because he's got a conflict, but we just want to thank him for all his hard work and leadership with the committee over the years. He has a lot of institutional knowledge and a great passion for transportation and issues surrounding transportation. So the mission of the Transportation Committee is to advocate for safe and efficient and convenient transportation for neighborhood residents, businesses, and visitors. Some of the topics that we've taken up in the past year include advocating for bike lanes and feedback on the city bike plan, improving sidewalks, particularly clearing sidewalks in the winter and its impact on mobility, and engagement around MnDOT's rethinking I-94 and the future of I-94. Working with other district councils, including proposals on traffic calming measures such as parklets. Also working to strategize together about city budgeting processes and how to amplify our voices together. And this year, after many, many years, the Englewood and Snelling traffic signal has finally gone live. So thank you to all those who helped work on that and helped secure funding. So long time on that one. So some of the prospects for the upcoming year include advocating communicating around various new resources and investments, such as the recently passed tax increase to help fund city streets and maintenance. It will probably impact Minnehaha and Hamlin Avenue in our neighborhood. Also promoting the new e-bike rebate from the state of Minnesota, and tracking changes to the transit network in the neighborhood, including improvement to access to the B line, a little different B line than from over there, but making sure there's still continued access to the new B line as well. So we're working on improving neighborhood communication through various site visits and walkabouts through the neighborhood. And we're also going to be working with HMC staff and board on the potential for a clean streets and clean water initiative, which we are working towards possibly doing handout towards like a sand that would help improve when salting sidewalks in the summer. So, winter. That'd be Nathan in the summer. So anyway, come visit us over at the table. Come talk to us about transportation in the neighborhood. Tell us about the issues that you see and that you want to see advocacy for and improvements in the neighborhood. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. How are we doing tonight in the Midway? That's great. Sorry, I was just getting a little emotional. This is my it's my first community meeting my little boy's at. He's a little organizer. I unfortunately have to stay to my remarks because I could talk about the Midway and my neighbors and how much I respect and admire all of you in this room tonight. My name is Justin Lewandowski, and I'm the new community organizer here at the Hamlin Midway Coalition. My wife, Ariel, my son, Sully, and I have been in the Midway now for about 4 years. And with over 10 years of organizing experience in Minnesota, across the country, I've been a part of a lot of really exciting campaigns and issues and grassroots initiatives. But I can tell you without a doubt in my heart that working for my neighborhood that I love in these last few years is one of the most amazing honors of my life. I've got to work with a lot of different nonprofit organizations. A lot of those really felt disconnected from the grassroots. A lot of those had board members that didn't really reflect the communities that they were intended to be serving. In fact, I actually left my previous job because I wanted the experience to work with and for my neighbors, where the board was made up of residents, business owners, students, and stakeholders who had a clear self-interest in coming together to make our neighborhood the best in St. Paul. I wanted the experience of organizing with my neighbors on the issues that matter most to them and our community. And I can tell you, I couldn't be happier. What do we have in here tonight? We got neighbors who are leading local initiatives to impact climate justice right here in the neighborhood, to say nothing of the racial and economic climate justice issues that our environmental committee has taken on. Give a round of applause. We got neighbors who are spending their weekends cleaning up trash and making our beautiful. We got neighbors who are diving into the weeds around complex economic and business development issues, raising up our neighborhood values in the face of billionaires, while also making sure that we're celebrating, supporting the local businesses that make the Midway awesome. We've got neighbors who are working on our intersections safer and promoting walkability through our neighborhood connections and through beautification. We got neighbors who are knocking on hundreds of doors. Can I just pause this? Can you all hear me if I talk like this? I'm gonna try to keep it on mic. I was a theater kid, so I could try to project. Oh, there's people on Zoom. That's correct. Well, folks, that's why I'm here. Like I said, we just knocked 150 doors last weekend. We had 8 new members come to our renter engagement committee. We got people talking about the future of the Midway. We've got people talking about each other, and that's why I'm here. Because I believe in us and I'm invested in us, and the Hamlin Midway Coalition is the vehicle that I've chosen to invest in myself, my neighbors, and my community. And I'm also super thrilled to share the stage tonight with another community partnership that's taking investment in the Midway to a whole nother level. And I'm talking about the Midway Investment Cooperative. That's why we're here tonight with HMC, the Midway Investment Cooperative. We're talking about investments in each other, ourselves, and our community. And I'm so excited to be able to pass to our good friends here at the Midway Investment Co-op. Let's bring them up, everybody. Round of applause.
Use this one, Emma. It's just better for now, I think.
Good evening, everyone. How's it going? I feel so fancy holding this mic. I don't know if I've ever held a mic like this before, but I am so glad to see you all out here tonight. Thank you so much for coming out. My name is Emma. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am a part of the Midway Investment Cooperative. So what are we going to do tonight? We're going to talk a little bit more about ourselves. Next slide, please, Pete.
There we go.
Hey, there we go. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about who we are, where we came from, and our history. We're going to talk about what's next for us as an organization. We're going to talk about our board of directors, and we'll share updates as well. And then we're going to have time for our breakout Q&A over here at the table, which will happen right after we present after we present together. Next slide, Pete. So let's talk about the Midway Investment Cooperative. So we are something called a real estate investment cooperative, which is a cooperative that allows residents to collectively buy, rehab, and manage commercial and residential properties together. Our why and why we are here is because we are here. We want to prevent displacement. We want to build community wealth and power, and we want to develop our local economy. Yeah, thank you for the past over 2 years, actually, we have been working together to build out the infrastructure of our organization. And no, Pete will talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. But we've been really intentional about putting down the roots of our organization so that we can prosper in the future. And I also want to say a huge shout out to the Hamlin Midway Coalition. They are our fiscal agent and sponsor. They have our back as an organization. Just a huge thank you to Jenny and her team and their board of directors for supporting us and being there for us along the way. So we wanted to share a little bit more about why we chose that real estate investment cooperative model that I was talking about just a little bit ago. We believe that it can create a pathway to preserve existing and foster new community assets, that it can generate community wealth through shared returns of investment. So it's not just going to one wealthy owner, one billionaire, I know has come up a couple of times in our conversation today, but making sure the wealth that is generated in our community stays in our community. And we also want to encourage local revitalization by transforming vacant buildings into vibrant commercial and residential properties. And again, preserving that wealth in our community. So our vision is to make long-term, stabilizing, and transformative investments for the mutual benefits of our member owners and our community. And with that, I am so pleased to welcome Munir Carcha-Ramos from the Office of Financial Empowerment. The Office of Financial Empowerment has been here since 2019, which focuses on economic inequality, because economic inequality is a whole city issue. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.
I'm going to try to mic myself here.
Clip.
How's that sound? All right, good. So my name is Munir Carcha-Ramos, and I'm the director of the Office of Financial Empowerment in the city of St. Paul. We launched as part of Mayor Carter's first budget in March of 2019, right? So we adopted Mayor Coleman's budget, ran that in 2018, but in 2019, we really launched the Office of Financial Empowerment. And as it says here, we launched because economic equality is a whole city crisis that demands a whole city response. And when we think about our work in the Office of Financial Empowerment, we're not just thinking about the city, the institution, but the city, which is all of us, right? That it takes all of us actually to address this, income, inequality in the city. And what I'm going to address today are just some of the things that we're working on the Office of Financial Empowerment as it relates particularly to the Midway Investment Cooperative. And I'll start here. Last March in Oakland, Mayor Carter announced in front of a very big room with a lot of folks who are in the cooperative space that he wants St. Paul to be the cooperative capital of the world, right? Not of the Twin Cities, not of the state, not of the nation, but of the world. I don't know if he actually knew what he was signing up for, right? But every place I go and we talk about this, and he doubles down on it. Everywhere we're going across the country, as we talk about our work in St. Paul, you know, he's saying we are going to be the cooperative capital of the world. So what exactly does that mean? I want to situate sort of that conversation and sort of how the mayor and sort of the administration, you know, are thinking about income inequality. We're situating it within saying that St. Paul is not the economy of the 1%. St. Paul is not the economy of economic exploitation. You'll often hear Mayor Carter also say, we're not here to attract the next Amazon, right? We're not here to attract the next Amazon and put in incentives to draw these mega corporations, you know, to St. Paul. We actually believe that is actually betting against St. Paul residents. It's betting against the infinite potential that exists within our neighborhoods by saying we need to import someone from external to actually figure out how to make our economy work. We say that is not the premise by which we try to understand and how we're going to weave together the next economy for St. Paul. So we situate that. You also hear Mayor Carter talk about we're trying to create an economy that works for all of us. And that is why he announced the local fund. What the local fund is an additional initial seed of grant funding that will go into cooperative development. So we announced a $2.5 million fund who will be administered by Mai. Is Mai in the room anywhere? Mai? Somewhere? No, she's not here. Okay. Well, you see Mai. Find her card. She'll be here somewhere. I don't know where she is right now. But Mai's going to be administering this fund. And really, we break it down into two things. We break it down into the local fund worker ownership and then local fund community ownership. And really what the worker ownership fund, you know, is looking at is that we're investing in worker ownership because we know that when workers own their business, they control decisions in the workplace. They pay themselves better wages. They share their profit collectively and invest back in the community. And they anchor wealth in their neighborhood so that the dollar recycles through the neighborhood more and more. So as I think about the Hamlin Midway, I'm a frog towner, forgive me. I used to go to the Hardware Hank over on Snelling, right? And as I think about worker ownership, right, I always sort of imagine what if the workers bought the business from that single owner at Hardware Hank, right? And a storefront building, you know, doesn't necessarily lie dormant right now, right? Workers don't lose their job. Community doesn't lose their amenity. We keep a mom and pop hardware store, you know, instead of having to go down the street to Menards at the big box retailer. That's what I say, we don't go to Ace in different parts of the city, but you know, there's a Menards right here. I think for city government is what we're trying to say as well, as we think about our strategy on worker ownership, is that baby boomers, right, don't need to close up shop that they've ran for 30, 40, 50 years. Instead, thinking about an exit strategy where they can actually sell that business to their workers. Right? And also have a nest egg that sits there. And basically, the city is saying, we will help those workers buy those businesses. Right? So that's worker ownership of the local fund. We're also looking at community ownership of commercial real estate. So the things you saw up here. What we know with community ownership and why that matters is because the community decides what its amenities are, right? Community ownership is not just about changing who owns the building and the land, but about a careful, partial redistribution, right, of those property rights associated with owning and actually redefining what ownership actually means, right? So what is that? So community ownership shifts those property rights. So community holds those rights and gains the equity from the property. Community ownership also means community wealth building, right? It means things substantially change for folks living in the neighborhood, whether you're on Thomas or if you're on Blair or you're on LaFond, is what does that actually mean, for them, and how do they, experience that? Hey, Gene. And I think the case in point is I think about commercial real estate and the hypothesis or the what if around it, is let's say that a riot happens due to a murder across the river by police. And a commercial corridor gets significantly damaged, right? Sounds a familiar story there, right? And I ask the questions I think about community ownership of commercial real estate is, what type of response would we have right next to Allianz Field in the urgency to respond if that strip mall, right? If that shopping center was owned by the community, what would be happening right now, right? And I think that's the proposition as I think about the ownership of commercial real estate is the community acts with the urgency to get what it needs, defines what it wants in those buildings, shares in the equity and the profits of that building and the potential of that building, right? Opposed to grassy lots or empty lots, right? And responds at the speed that it needs what it wants. So as I think about this, I have 1 minute and 10 minutes left to speak. So with that said, y'all, I cannot understate how exciting the Midway Investment Cooperative is, how groundbreaking this is. And it really aligns sort of with doing things big in St. Paul. As I talked to the mayor about tonight in sort of remarks, we were thinking around, this is bigger than our children's savings account program, which has over 12,000 babies, infants, and toddlers, and over $3 million of savings for those babies, infants, and toddlers. This is bigger than that, right? This is bigger than the People's Prosperity Pilot, the guaranteed income work that we've been pioneering in the city of St. Paul. This is bigger than that. It's bigger than the proposal that's going in front of council next month. We're going to buy all of St. Paul residents' medical debt, $110 million, right? This is bigger than that. And as I imagine and sort of think about what does it look like if I'm getting the X to stop, is I'll end with this. So I fly in and out of the airport a lot, go to different places. And one of the line of sights that you fly by is you actually look over the Hamlin Midway area in some of those flight paths. And the biggest thing that you see from the sky is Allianz Stadium. And I was flying back from Baltimore last weekend. And again, I was thinking about being here tonight. I was like, what would it look if we could point down and be like, the Hamlin Midway neighborhood owns all those commercial real estate buildings that we're flying over, right? What would that actually look like, right? Where our relationship to the land and to the buildings, right, isn't the focal point of the Allianz field, right? But it's actually saying, look at all those community members who have a stake of ownership in the commercial real estate in their own communities. So with that said, I just want to give 2 other shout outs to folks. So one, Faith Dietz is on our team. I know folks are familiar with Faith. I don't know where she went. She went over there, she shifted. Next to her is Mai. So Mai's on the team. Get her card. She's the one who's doing all this. And then I also have my chief of staff in the back, my 7-year-old who decided to come with me. So with that said, this is a little bit about what the city is up to. We look forward to partnering with Midway Investment Cooperative and look forward to going on the journey together. So thank you.
Is that me now? Yeah, oh yeah, it's me on the thing. All right. It says Pete right here. So my name is Pete. I'm on the board of the Midway Investment Cooperative. I gotta make sure that the robot knows to follow me. Hi. You gonna follow me now? No, I'll just force it. There you go. Hey, if the robot doesn't respond, just push it around. There we go. Okay, so I'm on the board of the Midway Investment Cooperative. We also have our other board members, some of whom are here tonight. So would you mind standing up, those of you who are here, fellow board members? So we've got our, Heather is our chair, Phaedra is our vice chair, Elaine is our treasurer, Gretchen our secretary, Mike is our VP of DEI. And a special shout out to Marsha Allen and Lisa, who's no longer here, but Arya, who is here. We have staff members who are doing an excellent job. So with that, I'll mention that we do need more board members. So it's available now. You can apply to be a board member. We have a few who are stepping away. Terms are between 1 and 4 years, I think, depending. So we've got information at the table over there. If you're interested in being a board member, go ahead and fill out a form and talk to us after. I can talk a little bit about key accomplishments. So this is kind of like the update. So we've been partnering with some local organizations, including Nexus Community Partners and Twin Cities LISC. They've been invaluable partners, provided a host of technical expertise to us. This past spring, before the kickoff, which was in June, but we filed our articles of incorporation. Those have been completed and filed with the state of Minnesota. So we are an official organization now. Our proposed bylaws, thank you. Proposed bylaws and membership structure has been formed, so that's official. The Class A membership share, which is a voting share and lifetime membership share, is set at $100. And that was something that we decided to do in difference to many other cooperatives. Usual cooperative member shares are set at about $1,000. So we set that for a number of reasons, including accessibility. We also have scholarships available. And so through generous funding is something different that you did on an old website. From the McKnight Foundation, we will also be able to offer scholarships to those who would not otherwise be able to afford the shared cost. So those are the updates. So what's next for the Midway Investment Cooperative? Let's buy a building. I mean, basically, that's what's next. Maybe more buildings. Let's buy a bunch of buildings. Is the stadium for sale? No. So we have, 42 members now? 42 paid members. And we have some members that have yet to pay. So we're looking to, we would like to increase the membership, of course. There is not a particular number where we're saying, okay, we have to have this many members before we move forward on buying a building or anything like that. But we would love to have more members. So $100, you can sign up on our website right now, or you can give us a check tonight if you wish. So feel free to join. We would love to have you. This is officially our first annual meeting. So if you sign up tonight, you can say that you've already been to one of the meetings. And hopefully we'll start looking at buildings soon. There's one available down the street from me, which I am very excited about. And hopefully that'll be the next one that we look at. So with that, I think we're pretty much, wrapping it up. Big dreams for the Midway community, want to purchase properties across the neighborhood. Is there anything in here I didn't already say? We're going to slow down, welcome new members, and chart out a plan with metrics and goals. Metrics and goals. So that sounds, I think I should write a song. Metrics and goals. It could be a Christmas song. Metrics and goals. All right. Well, anyway, so I think that's it for me for right now. I've been so focused on the technology for this event that I haven't really thought much about what I'm going to say in person. So, yeah. You can look us up online, Midway Investment Cooperative.org. Is it .org?
Yes.
Actually, I believe it's, those are our website is midwayinvestmentcoop.org. All right. So that's the end of the slideshow. Thank you, everybody. Who am I handing it off to now? I think I hand it back to you, Jenny or Cole. Yeah. I am. We are recording this meeting, so later, if anybody wants to access it, we'll have it available. So.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. We still have this room until 7. All of these amazing community partners, please visit them. Make sure that you get some food. Nobody should be leaving without food. Thank you so much for being here. This is my first annual meeting and I loved it. And it's because of all of you. So thank you so much. We'll chat, enjoy. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Can you remind people that we have a breakout session over here that we need
Okay.
HMC people?
Sure. So I will make just a quick announcement that the MIC, the Midway Investment Co-op, is having a small breakout over in this northeast corner, southeast corner by the restroom door, of course.